Good evening, Aja.
Good evening, Treb.
And how are you doing this evening?
I am doing wonderful, Treb. I am so thrilled to be talking with you.
Yes, and I am very excited to speak to you as well. This will be a very exciting evening to speak to you. I also wish to express a good evening to Kalina as well. Yes,
How are you?
I am doing very well. I wish to express to you that this evening we will connect in various ways, and I know that you have many questions that you wish to ask. So whenever you are ready to begin, you may.
Thank you. So, as a multidimensional being myself, I know that this life is just one physical incarnation that I am living. What I would like to know is, when I finish with this physical incarnation, where will I go in the non-physical? And do I have a choice in the matter?
Yes, this is very dependent upon many variables. As you know, your free will dictate all things that happen in physical existence as well as non-physical existence. So if you look at the idea of the physical body passing and the non-physical self becoming into an after existence, there are many variations. Within your own existence, as you are an entity from Earth who is between the third and fourth density exchange, then you will experience one of two probabilities in the after existence. There are two realms in which entities from your specific vibrational status can go to. The very first is what a third density entity will experience after their physical existence is over, when their new in-between state or in-between incarnative state cycle is available. And this place is what you would say to be in the fourth density. It is one density higher than the physical state, so that they are able to access information and energy that is higher to the collective and to themselves at the exact period. And if you are able to experience a fourth density full experience before your incarnative cycle in this existence ends, then you will be able to experience a place that is between the fourth and fifth density in your incarnation cycle. In between physical existence, there are areas that are notably called the ghost zone or in-between zone. And when a physical entity in third density dies, they go between third and fourth density. And when a fourth density entity dies, they go between the area that they are labeled between fourth and fifth. And when a fifth density entity finishes its incarnation, it goes between the area that is fifth and sixth. But when a sixth density entity passes or chooses to no longer incarnate its physical body, then it rejoins what you would say to be the lower waiting room area of the oversoul. So each entity that is in each density has a specific place in which it goes. So what it will depend on within your own existence, due to your free will, is if you choose to leave your incarnation as a third density style of entity or as a fourth density entity. And as you know, your physical self is now a fourth density entity, but you may choose to experience the third density style of existence until the death, as you would see this, or as I would see this, the end of your incarnative cycle.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So that question comes from a feeling I've had my entire life, which is I am not from Earth. I feel as though I am just here on a one-off. Is that, where is that feeling coming from?
Yes, if you wish for me to connect to this idea more deeply, perhaps with your permission I will connect your energy, and if I am able to do this, perhaps I will be able to give you greater assistance in this idea.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, if you are able to close the physical eyes and then place the energy pushing from the inside of the physical body to the outside and then pushing it out as far as you are able to with your intent for me to connect to this energy. In one moment, I will connect to this idea.
Okay, will do.
Yes, one moment, please. Yes. I wish to express to you that in your existence there has been incarnations into the earth cycle, as you would express, that your physical self has been through the entire earth incarnation cycle. But let us suggest why it is that you feel this way. In your connection to the higher self, this is your last incarnation as a third density entity. So when you experience this third density to fourth density exchange, as you become more aware of your own self, as you have become more aware of your connectable surroundings energetically, you are tapping into specific areas of the oversoul that only allow you a greater sight, that only allow you a greater incarnative capability to areas that seem to be higher than the Earth collective consciousness. As your perception is based in this way, it is based from the inequality of one density to the next, but in the Oversoul, it is understood that all of these densities are equal and all of these densities are important for the evolutionary cycle. So this is why there is a conflict in the way that you feel with the way that you experience concepts of not being from Earth. When you are able to see that these fifth and sixth density incarnations are just as valid as the ones of the third and second and first, are more meaningful or as useful and as meaningful as the incarnations in these cycles, then you would be able to begin to tap in more to the earth experiences that you have had. And when you are able to connect to those aspects of your own self from the oversoul that have lived upon earth and have had many existences upon earth, then the only energy that you will be able to project into the future existence will be that of multifaceted connections and multidimensional capability. You will be able to see all things. As you are connecting in this specific moment, these vibrational statuses that you see to be higher in fifth and sixth density are so greatly appealing to your own perception that this is why it is the only connections that you are making in your oversoul.
I see. So I could make other connections from all dimensions with my oversoul.
Yes, as your oversoul has many incarnations, many upon Earth, but also many upon other star systems, ones in which expansion in your own perception at this time seems to be much greater.
Yes, yes. Interesting. The then as a psychic medium, as I do in my do readings for clients, and as in my own inner journeys, I have met other entities. One of them being a Sasquatch person. Um, is that person by the name of Winaji? Is she part of my oversoul?
Yes, very much so. This entity is one that is very deeply connected to you. Many entities perceive this to be an Earth incarnated cycle, and this is partially true, but these entities originate from various places in the galaxy and have come to the Earth to inhabit it for several thousands of years. They are also in a physical existence that you would call the fourth density, and the more that you are creeping into this fourth density setting, the more physical that these entities may appear to be to you.
I see. Oh, wow. Okay. That was next on my list was who are the Sasquatch people and why am I so drawn to them?
Yes, this specific race of this entity that is connected to you is that of an entity that are similar to the original Earth humans, the ape style of entities or the primate style of entities that have evolved into a third density self without the manipulation of the DNA such as humanity has had. And in this incarnative cycle that they are sharing, there are many places from the galaxy that many of these entities arrive from, but your entity specifically is the same race that I have expressed to three separate Earth entities as we have spoken to one another. This entity is one from the Pleaidian region, from a specific area of a star that is called Tigrid. And this Tigrid star, in a smaller star that is gravitationally linked to this is the home planet of these entities that appear to be Bigfootish or primative in any concerns to the human eye.
Ah. So are the Sasquatch people, at least the race connected to me and that I have been telepathically communicating with, both only in meditation but also here on the ground with where I live, and actually receiving a gift from in the forest from them? Are they physically incarnated on Earth?
They are what you would say to be in the fourth density, and as you are an entity who is going through this third density to fourth density exchange, you are able to be in an existence where they are physical. It is when your vibration is at its highest, when you are seeing synchronicities, and when you are able to experience the greater aspects of consciousness within your own self. This is when you are able to physically connect to these entities. As they are a part of the Earth collective consciousness, as they have lived here for thousands of years, you will be able to co-create with them even before your fourth density growth. When you were a third density entity, you were still able to have bleed-throughs and connections of vibrational vortex that allowed them to be in your existence even this time. So now that you are growing more as an entity into the fourth density, you are now beginning to experience more and more synchronicities as well as more physical interactions with these entities.
Wonderful. That's good
Yes,
news.
it is very wonderful as well.
um, you have mentioned that I am moving into fourth density. Is everyone on Earth moving into the fourth density?
Yes, very much so. The entities that you perceive as the collective consciousness have already moved into fourth density, but why I express they are in the process of moving from third to fourth density is all of the entities in your existence are not willing to participate in the consciousness expansion, the consciousness integration that fourth density offers. So they are having the availability of being fourth density entities, but choosing to live a third density existence.
Oh, wow. What does that mean exactly in terms of their everyday lives? They just don't experience the same things?
Let us express it in this way. This is an example that I have given since I have connected to humanity and spoke of the ascensional process. What is happening is, as a third density entity, you were an 8-ounce container and filled with 8 ounces of liquid. The liquid is representing consciousness. The container is representing the amount of consciousness that is capable for an entity. So now that you have moved into the fourth density, you are now a 16-ounce glass with only 8 ounces of liquid. So consciously, you are only half full of the full capability and ability to grow into the fourth density. The more that you integrate portions of yourself, the more that you will find you are filling your glass, the more your psychic intuitions will raise, the more that your telepathic ability will raise, the more that synchronicities of manifestation will raise, the more that you will build your creation in the way that you wish and the way that you want to experience this. And what is happening now is many entities in your existence are expressing to themselves, I am not comfortable with adding any more than 8 ounces to my 16-ounce glass. I enjoy this experience. I am believing in this experience, and my beliefs that I have will not allow me to leave the 8 ounces.
I see. Oh, that is a wonderful way to explain it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So, of course, what's happening is more future questions that I had are being answered. I'll go ahead and ask these because I think you may have nuances for me. When I talk to people who have crossed over into what I understand, I guess, would be they're in the fourth dimension, what we call heaven. When I talk to those spirits, as we call them here, telepathically for clients, where can I tell my clients that those spirits are?
Each entity is very different in this way. When you are living in your after existence, as you are very well aware, you are able to experience what you wish to experience, much as you are upon Earth, with less restriction. But in this way, what they are, or where they are, is a realm that is between the Earth existence of third density to the fourth density of the new Earth, or more specifically now, the integration of consciousness begins between the fourth density Earth and the fifth density Earth, and this is where their experience lands them. But let us express that each individual entity may achieve their own after existence or afterlife in any way that they choose, as this plane is an energetic and not a physical one. If they wish to experience what it is to live on the moons of Neptune, if you will, then this is what they can experience. If their beliefs are less restricted, if their beliefs of what their own capability is strong enough to manifest this, it is much as if they are unplugged from the matrix and they are in their own new loading room, where they are able to load the programs of what they wish to experience, or even revisit their own existence in all variations. Let us use one example for this concept. There is an entity from Earth in which I have connected to, and in their previous incarnation, their life was exactly the same, except for one decision that was made in the mid-20-year-old was changed, and this existence is the one that they are experiencing with one idea, one concept, and one decision changed. And when their next existence occurs, their obsession with this existence and getting this existence more perfect will allow them to redo this existence and change yet another challenge or yet another decision. And if this is the way that the incarnate entity wishes to focus their attention in a specific variant of reality, then this is what they will experience. So if you are asking for a very simple answer to a very large and complex question, the greatest and most simplest answer I can give you is, if an entity is asking you, where is the loved one in which has passed? Where am I able to find them? Where are they? Where can I reach to them for? The only answer that can be given that will be honest and fulfilling is they are connecting back to themselves in a non-physical way. And this is a true nature of where they are going.
Hmm. Perfect. Yes. Wow. Okay.
Yes!
Wow. Yes, yes. Wow. Yes, they're creating and freed up. Um, wow, that's very helpful. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
So question about guides. I realize each of us in the physical, we seem to have non-physical helpers who agreed to help us while we're here. Can you help me understand who our guides are and what their role is maybe a little bit better?
Yes, and this again is very individual based. Each entity will have a separate amount or a separate type of entity that connects to them in this guide way. But let us set up the most average and basic archetype for guides for any one entity. Most human entities will have three guides upon the average, and these three are the ones in which they incorporate in their everyday existence. There are many more that are capable to connecting to, or that you have accessibility to, but these entities are within the oversoul region and not with you in each moment as a normal guide would be. Each entity has different amounts of guides, but the majority and average archetype of a human is three guides, three of them that are with them during incarnative cycles through the earth experience, three of them that are either from the same oversoul or from the same soul group or soul family as you would see this, and each fractal of consciousness that comes with him is within this area that is in between physical existences. So let us express that the average guides will be three in number, and at this time will be living and existing between the fourth and fifth density. They are in their own afterlife and are waiting to help guide any entity. The purpose of these entities is different for each entity, but if we are speaking on average of human beings, there is usually a correlation of chakras and issues that go with each chakra that each guide will assist to. I have expressed to many entities that the way that this works is different, but for the greatest example, again on an average setting, one guide will be well versed in the earth consciousness, in the grounding consciousness, in the more earthly variety of issues that earth entities go through, so they will be assigned the first, the second, and the third chakra. And then another entity will be more versed in the higher spiritual aspects of the growth of this entity and will incorporate the fourth and fifth chakra. Then the last guide will be that of the more astral in higher, non physical, or etherical concepts and problems that entities go through in their existence, and this entity will incorporate the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. So each entity will accompany a specific chakra setting, and any problems or variants or difficulties that these entities go through that go through a specific chakra, then this guide will help them. The very first guide, as we have expressed, is dealing with these earth style entities, so will be an entity who is very nature based, that is connected to Mother Earth itself. The second one will be one who has lived through the heart and very often connected in love and in wisdom. And the third guide would be one who has been able to astral project, who has been able to speak to entities on the opposite side of this veil that you speak of, who has been able to incorporate the very mystical arts within your own existence. And this is the stereotypical or average guide system that humanity has adopted.
Wow, thank you. That is very interesting and helpful.
Yes, you're very welcome.
um, so I would like to know if it can be simplified as such, the purpose of my incarnation, the incarnation I am in now.
Yes, I cannot express why you are here. I cannot give you this information. As you know, if I give you information that seems to resonate with you to a degree, you may change decisions that are within your own future, and I do not wish to impede upon the free will, but I will express to you the concept that the Oversoul is handing to you at this time is expressing. Look at the work that you are doing now. Look at how you are connecting to entities and helping them connect to the higher versions of their own selves, as well as being a conduit of information and love. Is this a path or a guideway that is worth walking? And this question is given back to you from the Oversoul.
Interesting.
And I would like to add to the concept, as you go through your work that you are doing now, it is very exciting for you. It can make you very happy. It can make you very ecstatic, if you will. And in the ways that we have expressed to humanity, the greatest way to manifest, the greatest way to live with less resistance or as resistance free as one Earth incarnate may be able to be, is by living into your excitements. So if you are truly living in those excitements, I would express to you that you are going in a proper way if your desire is to be resistance free and to be excited.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes!
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to go back to my questions about the Sasquatch people. I am very interested in developing a friendship, and based on what you have told me and the little bit of telepathic and then physical gift exchange that I have experienced, it seems as though my work in terms of developing my own intuition and connecting with my higher self and moving myself more into the fourth dimension is key to that physical friendship I so desire. Is that a correct assumption?
In what way do you mean is the key?
It's important that I, on my end, continue filling my container to closer to 16 ounces in order to meet the Sasquatch people where they are at.
Yes, this is very true. If your highest excitement is to connect to these entities, the more of your own self that you may integrate into your existence, the more you that you can be in your existence, the more that you are able to meet them vibrationally in a level that is acceptable, not only to them, but to yourself mutually and prospectively in a co-creative state. Yes!
Okay. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but are the Sasquatch people interested in relationship, friendship with the hairless humans, as I would say?
Yes, very much so. If they are not interested, if they are not in their highest excitement, they would not have allowed themselves to be within your own planet for several thousands of years. It is not as if they are stuck here, or it is not as if they are accidentally here. It is truly within their highest excitement to live here, and within your own experience as being gifted specific ideas and specific energies from these entities to have a primitive style of communication with them, as much to a very high psychic intuitive communication with them. This is showing you the absolute excitement and ecstaticness of these entities to be able to connect you. And in this way, if it is in your greatest excitement, a co-creation of the greatest magnitude may be manifested.
Wonderful. And so when Treb, they seem to disappear before people's eyes, is it simply a matter of them changing their vibration to a higher frequency and they appear to disappear?
No, this is not the exact way that this happens. It is often quite the opposite. It is that the entity who is perceiving this entity has dropped their vibration due to fear, doubt, or worry.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And when people refer to portals on the earth, are they simply referring to areas that support entry into a different dimension by lower dimensional entities, or is a portal something completely different?
This is very dependent on each entity's perception of what this word means, but if you are asking what is meant by the collective in this concept, many entities refer to this portal idea as an opening of energy within the matrices that allows non-physical energy to connect to physical existence. Another concept that is brought in through this is at the areas that are known to be the ley lines, the intersection areas of these ley lines that connect each Earth consciousness to one another. This specific grid or etheric or electromagnetheric energy that is given to you upon your own planet, when it intersects and comes down and touches the planet, this is also known as a portal. This is the amount of energy that may be manifested in one area at one time. Another concept that we express of the idea of portal is an energetic shift within one entity that allows either higher, more concentrated type 1 style energy within them, or the opposite energy, the more concentrated, lower vibrational negative energy, or type 2 energy into them.
I see. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, I think a final question about the Sasquatch people, so that I understand them a little bit better. Are they
Yes!
coming? Are they? I am obsessed with Sasquatch people. Are they coming and going from the Earth, or are they here on the Earth plane and they are not traveling elsewhere?
They are able to leave this plane, they are able to leave this existence, but in this specific idea, the majority of races that you would see to be Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, Swamp Men, any of these concepts, as there are notably different races of similar styles of entities upon this planet, many of the races that are here to exist and co-create an existence within your fourth density. The entities that you deal with more specifically, these entities have integrated their own consciousness to the Earth collective consciousness for over 7,000 years. And in this 7,000 years, they have come to think of Earth as their secondary home. This does not mean they are not able to leave, but at this time they do not want to leave.
I see. Okay. That's very helpful.
Yes!
And then and then when I go into my afterlife, I realize, based on my own experience and the questions you've answered for me tonight, that I will have a lot of flexibility. I will also have the option of coming back to Earth in another incarnation. I think the question I'm asking is, where is home for me? I feel that longing, and maybe it's only because that's a very human incarnation feeling to have. But do I have a home in the non-physical that I like to create and co-create and spend time with other entities there? And if so, what is that?
Yes, this is very exciting to answer. The concept of home that you experience, whether it is of your own fractalized consciousness or whether it is of the oversoul in general, is your own being. It is the state of being that you are within as consciousness. Consciousness expanding, living, existing. This is truly your home. All of the planets that you would see to be incarnative, capability, the Earth itself and the multiple states and countries and providences in which you can exist, all of the different star systems and galaxies, the different universes within multiverses, all of these places are only a manifestation of what is within. So if you wish to know where your true home is, it is within your own state of being. And once you are able to be comfortable with this own state of being as a fractalized consciousness, and the integration of this connects to your oversoul, your home will be manifested outwardly to how your insides are feeling and being. So what is being said is if you feel most comfortable upon the Syrian planet of the Syrian B, the fourth planet out into the moon, into a jungle of this moon, and this is what your highest excitement is, it is only because you have manifested this from the inside precipice of your own consciousness. Your own individual consciousness has found a way to expand that feels quite homey to you.
Wow. That's very exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting as well.
Yes. Wow. Wow. So the expression "the sky's the limit" doesn't even apply actually here, but the sentiment behind it, maybe.
Yes, this is
No
very
limit.
true. There is no limitations in what you would call home, but what your feeling and perception of what home is.
That's a very exciting prospect.
Yes, it is very exciting. Let us express as well that when you are an oversoul, you have several hundreds of millions of fractalized consciousness, each of them living on different planets, each of them living in different time periods on the same planets, each of them living in different star systems, in different realities, and each one of those fractalized consciousnesses, if they are aligned with what they truly are, if they are being the greatest thing that they can be, all of the fractals feel as if they are home.
Yes. Okay. They truly are. Wonderful.
Yes, very much so.
Wow. If you don't mind, I would like to understand more about you. Do you have what we would consider a family?
Yes, the family structure that you would see upon your own planet does not necessarily apply to our own race, but in a way it's very similar. There are genetic connections that we make with an entity, and when we connect, we share our own genetics, and then we are non-sexually making children with our two genetics that are combined, and when we do this, there are children, if you will, that are not born to us in a physical way, but birth to us in the process, much as you would see a non-sexual birth or a birth that is laboratorized. The term laboratory based, yes. This idea is the greatest encompassment of this. In this way, we have thrown the energetic meanings of the sexual reproduction to the side, as it was no longer an excitement of our own fourth density style race. And as we have done this, we have learned that there is no true concept of family integration, but genetically we may share with whom we wish, so that we may incarnate a body that is more fitting for any entity that chooses to incarnate this. And if you are looking at this structure, there is one feminine energetic entity that I share genetics with, and in this concept I am sharing with 3 children, and one that is not conscious yet, as it has not been incarnated into.
I see. Wow.
Yes, I wish to express that the time is becoming on the shorter end of our connection, and if you have questions that are fitting your own excitement, if you place them towards the front of the line, perhaps it will assist you to have them answered more quickly.
I kind of came to the end of all my questions, but another one just came up, so this is perfect. We'll see
Yes.
again. Yeah, thank you. That is that in my role as a clairvoyant medium, I have found myself now in the second situation of this kind. And the situation is to be comforting a friend whose child is very, very ill and possibly about to cross over. In fact, the feeling I get is that it is imminent, and I am placed in a position of being able to communicate with the spirit of the little girl who is wanting to transition and cross over, as well as the parents who have no knowledge really of the afterlife and who are very much wanting the spirit of little girl to stay in her body. Do you have any advice for me as I navigate this area of my work?
Yes, if you are able to experience the connection to this entity as it is very ill and not able to communicate for its own self, if you are able to connect to this, it is to the concept of what is more exciting for you. Is it more exciting to share what this entity is sharing with you to its parents? If this entity wishes for you to connect to its parents in one way, if it is an idea of what you should do, this is not what we can answer, but what we can answer is what perhaps in our own situation can be done. If this situation is reversed and I'm the one who is within yours, and I am within the human incarnator cycle, such as the host is, then what I would do is connect to the concept of what the girl or this little child is wanting to connect to, and whatever information that this entity brings through me, its own desire to communicate with her parents would be my decision. But within this idea, this is the host and my own idea that is collaborated as I am using his experience to draw from the human compassion, from the human concepts of what is correct and what is not correct. And in this way, perhaps this is what would be done between myself and the host. But knowing that if your highest excitement is to not offend or to rile up these parents, then follow this highest excitement. It is whatever is within your excitement. If none of these ideas excite you, if keeping what is being given to you quiet is the only way that you feel is appropriate, just remind yourself that guilt, pain, and suffering should not be a motivation for you to be able to share or to not share, that only what is correct in your own heart. And this would be the way of greatest resistant free energeticness.
Yes, okay. That's very helpful. So
Yes.
my position of wanting to stay neutral has actually been somewhat painful for me when I really want to see her set free. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, you are very welcome.
Wow, with that, I think we have answered all of my questions and then some, Treb. Thank you so much.
Yes, you are very welcome. I wish to express to you my own gratitude for your connection, as it is always in my greatest excitement to connect to humanity and to see the variations of consciousness and fractalized versions that reflect a greater portion of my own self as a part of oneness. And in this excitement, our co-creation that we have had this evening has been very exciting.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, very wonderful as well. With these ideas that I have expressed, I will now leave you this evening in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Wonderful. Much love and light to you, Treb.
Love and light to you as well. Good night.
Thank you.